Welcome back, True Seeker. It is Friday, June 14th, 2024. It's Flag Day. Today, the flag was born in Philadelphia at 239 Arch Street. That was on the date June 14th, 1777. And Donald Trump, of course, has the same birthday as the flag. Today, Trump turns 78 years old. And I want to talk about two stories that have both been top headlines throughout the daily news cycle. And that's the Supreme Court striking down the Trump approved ban on bump stocks, as CNN put it. It happened in the time of his administration. That happened December 18th, 2018, the day after the Pope's birthday, the second day of Saturnalia. And we're going to look at just how perfect the ritual is with Saturnalia and the overturning by the Supreme Court today on Trump's 78th birthday. We've been waiting for this Trump 78th birthday for a long time because Trump is terminology from tarot cards, and there's 78 cards in the deck. Again, 78 is a pretty magnificent number, and I think even though we know a lot of things about it, I think there's still a lot more to know. But we're going to talk about why this happens on Trump's 78th birthday in light of the Saturnalia policy change, again, the day after the Pope's birthday. And we're going to look at why CNN wrote a very specific story about Trump being 78 today, the age Joe Biden took office at. And they're pointing out how Trump will be even older than Biden. He'll be also 78, but longer in days from his 78th birthday than Biden was, setting a new record for oldest man to start a new presidential term. But that story in the news the same day that judge approves liquidation of Alex Jones' personal assets to pay Sandy Hook victims' families. Again, it was a free speech case that he lost, and now the story is he's lost his self-made InfoWars. And of course, Alex Jones and Donald Trump became a unit in the 2016 election year. And Alex Jones took credit for Trump winning the election. And Alex Jones broadcasts on the Genesis radio network. Again, the Genesis radio network. In the most simple cipher in Gematria, ABC 123, Genesis equates to 78. If you're new here, Gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. And this Kabbalah thing is important because Trump has a Kabbalah plaque that he keeps in his office. I forget which book it is, but he has someone who inspired him in life talking about Kabbalah in the book. Anyhow, Trump's 78th birthday, 78 tarot cards in the deck, a magical number for a lot of reasons. Genesis, the first book of the Bible. The 78th verse of Genesis is Genesis 3:22, which mentions the tree of life and knowing good and evil. And it's interesting because tree of life is terminology in Kabbalah. Its physical model is the tree of life, and it has a good half and it has an evil half. The evil half is known as the clip-off. So also noteworthy, the tree of life in Kabbalah has 3 pillars and 22 paths, plus 10 sephirot, but 3 pillars, 22 paths, like Genesis 3:22. The 10 sephirot are also interesting because in Gematria, God has Gematria. The word God has a value of 10, and so does the value of Satan. They're both 10, God and Satan. Marilyn Manson, who's a member of the Church of Satan, put out the song right when Trump was becoming president. When you say God, I say Satan. And if you look up the lyrics to that song, it's written SAY number 10. When you say God, I say Satan. That song came out like the exact same time about Trump was taking office. If you remember, there was a big controversy because Marilyn Manson had a music video then with a murdered Donald Trump with a shot in the head. Again, these things become more noteworthy when you start to realize the bigger picture. Again, Obama joked at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, April 30th, 2011, with Trump in attendance, that Trump would be the next president, which would make Trump number 45. And that joke was on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, 45 days before Trump's upcoming birthday. And again, the highest degree of the Church of Satan is mega, M-A-G-A. And again, you know, part of the satanic nature is a mocking nature. So, like what we've been talking about, why Trump had 34 charges and what it had to do with Passover, all these biblically mocking rituals. So think about this now, again, on Trump's 78th birthday, and we're going to put this together a lot more. CNN's actually writing an article about how significant the number 78 is. They're not saying anything about there being 78 tarot cards in the deck and Trump cards being the top cards. Again, there's 22 major arcana, and all but one are Trump cards. And then there's 56 remaining cards. And again, the election this year is on November 5th. Remember the 5th of November, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. Another very special number. Yeah, my last book, Number Games, I get into great detail in 78, but we've learned a lot more about it since. And anyhow, we're going to come back to this, how it all fits together with Trump, Alex Jones, the Genesis broadcast radio network that Alex Jones is on, these stories today. Again, how perfectly Alex Jones. Here, just to make a long story short, for people who don't have a lot of time. Yeah, this is another part of it, but hold on. Or shoot, is it this post? It's this post right here. Just if you're short on time, you guys, from the Sandy Hook mass shooting, December 14th, 2012, where there was a major push for new levels of gun control, just like kind of after Columbine, similar type of situation. Always this push to further limit liberties for Americans based on the government's newest criteria. And the new criteria comes out of these kinds of stories. And then people might have the right intention, like, oh yeah, we don't want crazy people to have guns, but then you realize they're taking guns away from not crazy people, but maybe people who have some kind of criminal offense, but it doesn't make them. Anyway, I didn't want to go down that whole route. That's what people debate about. But what I'm always trying to show is just how they perfectly place these stories, these narratives, so that people can fight and divide over them. And really, we're not seeing how we are being distracted with purposeful propaganda, a rigged news cycle, rigged storylines that are perfect rituals. Anyway, case in point, from the day of the Sandy Hook shooting, which was also on the 14th of the month, to this ruling on Trump's birthday, exactly 138 months later. And we've talked about this many times, how Alex Jones equals 138 like Donald Trump. The year the Nationals beat the Astros in the World Series. They beat him in Game 7, 138 days after Trump's birthday, something we saw coming a mile away. Because, again, Trump hired Steve Ray, the Nationals announcer, to do the inauguration, where Trump took office with the 115th Congress. And in Gematria, Donald Trump equals 138, like Nationals, like Dave Martinez, their manager. Also the word federal. The group, the Misfits, we have the song We Are 138. I don't think they wrote that song. Anyhow, 138. Alex Jones, Donald Trump became, again, aligned as one in the election year, doing lots of interviews, getting a lot of hype, attention. And for people, it was weird to witness, because like, okay, here's Alex Jones, who's like made his whole career on going totally against the federal government, now it's totally sold out, but now he's all in on Donald Trump, like he's bucking the system. Anyway, exactly 138 months after Sandy Hook, this happens today on Trump's birthday, on this very significant 78th birthday. So yeah, we'll come back to more of that. But I want to start here with, again, the first big headline of the day. Supreme Court strikes down Trump-approved ban on bump stocks. One more time. This policy change came in Trump's administration on the second day of Saturnalia, which is the day after the Pope's birthday, December 18th, 2018. So we're going to see how perfectly coordinated it is from that Saturnalia ruling to today, the Supreme Court striking it down. Again, 78 is the number, and Saturn, the occult. Saturn is very important to the occult. It's the keeper of time. Some people refer to it as the dark sun, the black sun. It's connected to death and judgment. In all the years that we've done this work, and when I first started, I was just super focused on Saturn, and yeah, we made some very the year of the Vegas mass shooting, we had that weekend circled just like 6 months in advance because the way Yom Kippur lined up with Saturn and something astrological. I'd have to go back and look at all of it, but Yom Kippur is about atonement for your sins and judgment. And again, Saturn's connected to judgment, and this is judgment, the Supreme Court, and a huge Saturn tribute on Trump's birthday when this is attributed to his administration. And again, just this 78 theme and how significant this number is. So, first of all, bump stocks. They're something you can add to your gun that can help you maintain a more accurate rate of fire when you're pulling the trigger a lot. Imagine you're in a firefight, you're trying to shoot a lot of bullets at an enemy. If you've ever shot a gun, some have recoil. This helps just like steady that recoil so you can actually shoot where you're trying to shoot. So essentially, I mean, you're shooting a gun at people. You're trying to be a killing machine. That's why this was momentarily banned with the mass shootings. And keep in mind that they did this right at the end of 2018, the year that began with the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. And the March for Our Lives. So it was like. Anyway, let's go through this. Some of these notes up here are interesting, but I want to skip down to certain things. Okay. If you're new here, Gematria, very simple practice of coding numbers into words. It's based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. And I'm coming down here to where it shows Saturn worship. So these are the 4 base ciphers of the English language. Saturn worship with the alphabetic order is 201. Saturn worship with the alphabetic order in numerology applied is 66. And again, if the difference would be Saturn worship, where it's 201, S is the 19th letter of the alphabet. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5. When you get to S, it's the 19th letter. When you get to Z, the last one, it's the 26th. You add up the letters of Saturn worship, they add up to 201. S would be 19, A would be 1, T, the 20th letter, would be 20. In the next cipher, S is still the 19th letter, but now it's the numerology of 19. And the numerology of 19 is 1, because 1 plus 9 is 10, and 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. You just make each number a single digit. And S is actually the hardest one to do because it's the only letter, or it's the only number you have to add together 2 times. Like a Z, the 26th letter, 2 plus 6 is 8. So Z is 8 in the blue cipher. Saturn worship 66. And when I first started this work in 2013, those were the only 2 ciphers I was looking at. And look, today, the day of this decision, June 14th through December 31st, these are the last 201 days of the year. Today's the first of the last 201 days of the year. And it's exactly 66 months from the December 18th, 2018 ruling. 66 months. And then when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Saturn worship is 150. I'm going to make a point about Alec Baldwin, him shooting the Ukrainian woman on the set of Rust right before Russia-Ukraine with all of these numbers. But, and again, he portrayed Trump. But, again, the last 2 ciphers, the reverse alphabetic order and the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. Well, you can see in reverse with numerology, Saturn worship is 78. So they attached this to Trump's administration now on his 78th birthday. This 78 number, it's huge right now. The NBA championship, game 4 tonight is on Trump's 78th birthday. This is the 78th NBA season. Game 1 of the finals was June 6th. That was the 78th birthday of the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics are the only team in the whole league whose full name equals 78 out of the 30 teams. Again, with the 4 ciphers, 30 teams. That means there's 120 numerical values connected to NBA teams. There are 3 that have a 78 connection, but only 1 full team name, Boston Celtics. The other 78 is Cleveland. The other 78 is New York. The Knicks, Cleveland, and Boston all went to the playoffs this year, had good years. Celtics, final start on their 78th birthday. That was the 78th game of the 2024 NBA playoffs, game 1 of the finals. Joe Biden's Secret Service name is Celtic. He took office at age 78. All of the games had 3 days spacing, June 6th, June 9th, June 12th. This is the first game which is 2 days spacing, June 14th on Trump's 78th birthday, when we've been showing for years how they sync up the pro sports with the Oval Office, with the news, with the history. We've been talking about how JFK from Massachusetts killed in Dallas, this year's finals. Massachusetts team, Boston versus Dallas. And again, just the Kennedy family, JFK, killed in Dallas. Kennedy in Gematria equates to 78. The finals began on RFK's death anniversary, June 6th. Robert Kennedy equals 66, like Sirhan, and on and on. But yeah, these numbers. So with regards to Alec Baldwin, remember, Saturn worship. Saturn's connected to death and judgment and time and rituals. When Alec Baldwin shot the Ukrainian woman, it was 201 days after his birthday, and they said he shot her at 1:50 local time, 2:01, 1:50. And his birthday is the 93rd day of the year. Saturn equates to 93. Order of Illuminati equates to 201 and 93. The sun illuminates the world. Heliocentrism equals 201, agreed to in the century of the Jesuits, and the Jesuits are the big 201 gang. Again, the first Jesuit pope is the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican, and he's born in the time of Saturnalia. And again, his birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, equals 201, just like the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, equals 201, like the Jesuit order is 201. Saturn worship is 201. Saturnian order is 201. Sacrifice to Saturn is 201. Remember, when Beau Biden died at 46, it was 201 days before the Pope's birthday. Then Joe Biden's elected number 46, 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. The same Jesuit priest did the funeral and the inauguration for Joe Biden. Inauguration day is the 201st day of the nation's age. The Jesuit priest named Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan, 201. And inauguration day is also in the time of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. And with new presidents comes new justices. And the color black is associated with Saturn. And again, just judgments. You think about how in our court system, the judges wear these all black gowns. But yeah, in light of all the Kennedy stuff, here's how amazing it is, you guys. That this game in Dallas tonight on Trump's birthday. Remember, Jerry West just died while the Celtics were on 78 wins in the 78th season, and they won again that night. The Celtics became 15-2 in the playoffs. Joe Biden equals 152. The game 1 of the finals was 152 days for the inauguration day. And again, Joe Biden's Secret Service name is Celtic. But oh shoot, I lost my train of thought for what I was going to put up. Oh, I know. Again, tonight is the 248th game. If you go to this website, StatMuse, and you type in, let's see here, Mavericks all-time playoff record. Okay, you can see they're 117 and 130. So added together, that's 247 games. They've played 247 games. Remember, they've been doing a lot with 248. May 1st, 2024 was the Illuminati's 248th birthday. The Dallas Mavericks were also established on May 1st. And funny enough, Dallas Mavericks equals 51, just like Adam Weishaupt equals 51. Adam Weishaupt was the Jesuit who founded the Illuminati on May 1st, 5-1. And remember, when Miriam Adelson took over the Mavericks this year at age 78, she did it on her 51st day of her age. And let me just let me type in Dallas Mavericks real quick, because I just want you to see the 150 in their name as well, like Illuminati. Because Sheldon Adelson, who was a huge backer of Trump, he died 150 weeks before she took over the team. So again, 150 weeks after Sheldon Adelson's death, and on the 51st day of her age, she takes over majority ownership from Mark Cuban. He's too busy with Shark Tank or something like that. I don't know. Or all these people are just kind of actors on the world stage getting shuffled into their spots for the little number rituals in the cabal code. I guess it's just like insider trading to the cabal. But yeah, the 248 thing. The United States of America will turn 248 on July 4th. And remember, President Donald Trump, that full title, President Donald Trump, when the election was called for him in 2016, he was on 248 electoral votes when he went up on the stage and accepted the nomination, and Bill and Hillary came down dressed in purple. I don't want to go into that. There's just so many little rituals they do. But again, he was on 248 electoral votes. President Donald Trump, 248. And now, just funny enough, they had to fudge the Mavericks game to, again, every game had 3 game spacing until today, just 2 days so they can play on Trump's 78th birthday. And it just so happens the Mavericks are in their 248th playoff game tonight. And also, remember his son, Barron Trump. The finals began. Barron Trump's 18 years old right now. Like, the Celtics are trying to win their 18th championship tonight in their 18th playoff game after the death of Jerry West, who was 1-8 in the big championship game. But the finals began 78 days after Barron Trump's 18th birthday. And he has dual citizenship in the United Slovenia. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but Luka Doncic's country, because his wife is from there. And we've been shown all these years how just all this stuff is scripted together, and it can only be if these people were born for this long ago and they positioned all this stuff and they've been into this ritual birthing. Year after year, we're pointing out things like this with the big championships and who's in the Oval Office. But yeah, what a script. Joe Biden. And again, you guys, Joe Biden's number 46. His Secret Service name is Celtic. Celtics, like he would call the team name, has the 46 in it, just like Catholic. Like there's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. You can see all the numbers up there. Bill Walton dead at 71, the day the Celtics advanced to the finals. Today's 18 days after Bill Walton died. You know, at least Jerry West won't have to see it, unless it's on the verge of a new type of history being made, some kind of comeback. But yeah, again, how perfectly planned and scripted it all is year after year. Trump takes office while the flag is 239 years old, the 52nd prime. And then the year of the Super Bowl 52, he takes on the protesters of the flag on 23/9. Right then we said, wait a minute, the flag was thrown at 239 Arch Street in Philly, and the flag's on the Patriots helmet. How much does that Super Bowl make sense? And again, you guys, the thing that's sad is back then, we were pointing out before the game that if the Eagles won, it would make sense for Zach Ertz, number 86, to score the winning touchdown, because the Super Bowl was 86 days after his birthday, and the national anthem was adopted 86 years before that season. And then that did happen. The Eagles did win. Zach Ertz did score the winning touchdown in the big 86 ritual. And now here in 2024, years later, on the 86th day of the year, the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapses in Baltimore. Key Bridge, Again, key bridge equals 86, right? And just all the layers to the script, again, about having all these people in just the right positions. Key bridge 86 comes down on the 86th day of the year, 86 weeks after Nancy Pelosi is in Singapore on Francis Scott Key's birthday, which is also her father's birthday anniversary, August 1st. But again, Key Bridge 86, Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem. So they were doing that ritual with 86 in the national anthem the year the Eagles beat the Patriots. Then this year, on the same day that Jerry West dies at 86, again, we talked about how everything was 86 in the news that day because Wednesday's named after Mercury, and Mercury equals 86. And Merrick Garland, the 86th Attorney General, was, having this vote against him in the House. And the Castro tribute with the Cold War thing when Castro was a Jesuit with the big 86 connection. Then to top it off, at the end of that day, Boston beats Philly in baseball 8-6, while Tom Brady gets entered into the Patriots Hall of Fame 52 days from his birthday. Again, all this 86 stuff. 52, it was Super Bowl 52 with the 86 ritual with the national anthem. Years later, same type of stuff happened. This is the point I've been making. You pay attention and you learn the numbers. You see how they do things in cycles, and you can see there is a real ritual to it. Nancy Pelosi, again, how deep it is. She's in Singapore with the leader of that nation 86 weeks before the bridge comes down on her birthday, and they said the ship that took it out was from Singapore. And it was called the Dali, and that synced up with the Salvador Dali painting, The Broken Bridge and the Dream, which the mainstream media brought up. And again, we covered all these things in great detail at the time. But again, what people need to understand is how literally they are scripting events like this for a bridge to be taken out and then a new bill to be created for the taxpayer. This is their way of operating. And again, they use symbolism. Perhaps it's true that the nation really does need a major infrastructure boost. In terms of like countries in the West, we're way behind almost everyone. But the fact that they have to go through these perfect rituals of taking out infrastructure to create this movement in the populace or to pay these tax dollars for this, it's just this stuff needs to come out of the darkness, and we need a more transparent system. I mean, do you think the average American person, or actually, I don't even want to guess. I don't even want to guess anymore. Maybe if the average American person did realize what's going on, they'd be like, well, I don't care because the whole time the lights have been on and I've been enjoying the games on the TV and all the snacky snacks and munchy munches. So I guess just keep on Kabbalah along or whatever they'd say. I mean, that's... But no, I mean, this system is just so dishonest. It's so disingenuous. I just think about all the children growing up, watching Schoolhouse Rock or whatever they do in the classroom now, learning about how just their country is. Now they can grow up to be the president someday, and it's just not true, you guys. I got to remember. Hold on, I got to write this down right now so I don't forget it because I got to come back to this later. Derek, I saw him put out a video about what they did with Hunter Biden in light of Hunter S. Thompson. And Derek always makes me laugh because he says something I'm like, oh, yeah, he's going to hit this right on the head. He's going to go right there. And then he just jumps off into some other galaxy that I couldn't even have imagined. I'm just like, why would you go from the point you just made to that? So anyway, but I'm going to go where I thought he was going to go. And God, you want to talk about how born these people are for the script. I did not realize if you've ever seen Johnny Depp's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, it's based on Hunter S. Thompson. If you don't know who Hunter S. Thompson is, look him up, but he's highly associated with drugs. I didn't realize the book for that film was written in 1972, the year that Joe Biden became senator-elect. And we're going to get to how the Hunter S. Thompson Hunter Biden verdict was a big 47 ritual, and again, remind why that matters so much and how it all comes together with time and judgment and Saturn. But it sometimes, I guess sometimes this stuff still blows my mind because I'm just like, oh my God, man, like really paying tribute to Hunter S. Thompson through Hunter Biden, just how long ago the script was written. Anyway, we'll get to that. So they had Clarence Thomas write the majority opinion again, and again, I want to send a warning out to Clarence Thomas, just because I feel bad, when a Antonin Scalia moment happens. Even if I don't like your guys' political careers, I don't like any of these people's political careers. I just feel that unless there's some people who think like everyone is just faking their deaths. It's a mainstream headline, and they all go to Celebrity Island. And at the end of the day, I don't. That'd be a nice thought. That'd be nice if that's true. But we do know that a lot of people die in very suspicious ways that are on this world stage. And I do worry a little bit about Clarence Thomas turning 76. I mean, look what just happened to OJ. I mean, it was like the most brutal 76 ritual ever. Oh my goodness. Who's Apollo Creed from Carl Weathers? They got him right at the beginning of Black History Month in the 76 ritual. They got the Hootie and the Blowfish singer shamed in the headlines in a 76 ritual. Remember, the federal government recognized Black History Month in 76. The first black president's name, Barack Obama, equals 76. Like slave, like Negro, like blues, like Rasta, and all the million other things we've talked about. But Clarence Thomas does turn 76 later this month, and he's part of that Jesuit fraternity. Let me see. A 201 that I don't bring up enough, and I talked about more in years past. Remember, like in the first phases of my book, I was working it in. But if you look it up, there is something from history known as the Order of Assassins. And that phrase equals 201, like the Jesuit order, like Order of Illuminati. And again, the Illuminati was founded by a Jesuit, Adam Weishaupt. He died in history 201 days after the anniversary of the Illuminati's establishment. State of Israel equals 201. And remember, State of Israel was drawn up by by the United Nations on September 3rd, or at least the drawing up and the proposal for Israel that became the nation, that was accepted by the United Nations on September 3rd, 1947. And then Israel became a nation the following May 14th, 1948. But 9-3, September 3rd, Saturn 93, State of Israel 201. Remember, Netanyahu dropped out the other year on the day leaving 21 days and then came back in a big 201 ritual on 12/29. But notice how the Jesuit order and Saturnian order perfectly overlap. 177, 69, 201. And remember what they just did with Hunter Biden, 177 days after the Pope's birthday. And Biden sacrificed his wife and daughter and his son Beau all in 201 rituals. And then Hunter Biden gets major national shaming while his father's the president 177 days after the Pope's birthday on drug and gun related charges. Broke a gun law while being under the influence of drugs. Otherwise, he could have gotten away with it, but it was crossing the boundary with a gun when his father said when he came in, there's going to be major gun reform. And it's just there's something wicked and sinister in the mockery of the story too, because if you look at correct sentencing laws in this nation, they've been very disproportionate since they came on the books, like in the 80s, against predominantly black communities. And then Joe Biden takes office with the first black president, and I remember Obama did shorten the crack sentencing a little bit. It was like, you could have done a lot better than that. I mean, man, it's still a long time, but it was better than what it was. But yeah, there's something about that. And then first black woman to go to the Oval Office, Kamala, also with Joe, who said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Just for the record, New World Order also has the 177. Remember, Klaus Schwab equals 177. He's the leader of the World Economic Forum, Jesuit educated, and put on the Event 201 pandemic simulation that changed the world. And again, the simulation was the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China, and those began in Italy and got Jesuit roots. starting in 1995. But yeah, Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, begins right at the end of Saturnalia. Inauguration Day is right around the transition time of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. So, in light of the tarot card thing, again, there's a connection with the devil or Satan in tarot cards, and so I wanted to see where Saturn is referenced in tarot cards. I'm not a tarot card expert, but a quick web search, and again, if you have more tarot information, feel free to chime in. But quick web search: the hidden seal of Saturn is in 3 tarot cards. The Hierophant, I believe that's how you say that, which is the Pope, the 10 of Pentacles, and the Devil. And again, Penta, you're probably thinking 5-sided, just like how the 5-pointed star, when inverted, is a symbol of Satan. And look into this. In 2000, the GOP changed the elephant with the stars, and they changed it in 2000, the year of Bush, just before 9/11, all that stuff went down, to a downward pointing star. And again, just that connection with 10 and Satan and God and the Marilyn Manson thing, but the 10 of Pentacles and then the Devil card. So I thought, that's interesting. This little, how just Saturn, and again, to the occult, Satan and Saturn are related. But yeah, also the Pope, and the Pope being born in Saturnalia. And to be fair, in tarot cards, they use the word devil. Devil has the gematria 52, just like Pope, like how the 52-week calendar is named in tribute to the Pope. And the word earth is 52, and earth is a reshuffling of heart, and heart is 52. And we associate 52 with cards because in a standard card deck, 4 suits of 13 cards, 52 total cards. And again, in gematria itself, it's very interesting because the word gematria equals 52, like Kabbalah. Tree of life equals 52, the physical model for Kabbalah. Etzah Chaim, the Jewish word for the tree of life, is 52. And on and on and on. Special number. So we'll come back to that. And with regards to this bump stock ban that got overturned on Trump's birthday, again, where we began, fit so many topics, sorry. But the attorney general, he was a short-term acting attorney general for Trump. He was in there for exactly 100 days, or he got out of there 99 days after his first day, however you want to look at it. But and he also got out of there on the 1-year anniversary of Stoneman Douglas, which was a Valentine's Day shooting on the 45th day of the year. And this legislation kind of fit in with the theme of that year. People wanted to see some kind of action. So taking out the bump stock bans, which can help make people more effective killers. I mean, you can see that, like, this is the way the government's supposed to work, right? That's kind of the idea that we were told in school, that like some branch might come in with a solution to something, but then over time it's reviewed and it's decided it's unconstitutional. And so, like, that's also the reason they do all this, because for people who are just paying attention, they're like, well, this is how we were told our government was supposed to work. So I guess the Supreme Court got us some more freedom there. But then people aren't too mad about it because they're like, well, and like even understanding the script, right? From my standpoint, I'm like, okay, let's just say that they're all right about everything. All these things have gone just as they reported. They got to stop these random madman killers out there. Okay, what can I do? I can take this thing off the street, make it harder to get, so people aren't effective shooting at their targets. But yeah, this is all the show. I mean, the real question people need to look beyond is this stuff even going down like they're saying? Are we sure these aren't all high rituals to chip away at our rights and liberties and create this constant commotion and the idea that we need this kind of, overbearing authority, the federal government, to manage our lives at this high of a degree to this big of a bill each year? You got all your state taxes and even a way bigger bill for the federal taxes. It's just, it looks like it's all theater and show, and again, keep people thinking, oh my God, we need even more police because I don't want a mass shooter in our community. It's like, are you sure that mass shooting wasn't carried out by the authorities? Maybe if we had less of them, there'd be a lot less of this. Anyway, what's crazy is this guy who signed this in. Look at his name, Matthew Whitaker, right? Matthew Whitaker. Isn't it wild that his name is? There's actually a lot of things that are wild about Matthew Whitaker, but it's wild that his name is just like Donald John Trump in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. Do you see that? 185, 68, 220. It's funny because basketball is 185 and 68. What they're doing tonight with the game, moving game 4 in this 78th season of Trump's 78th birthday. If the Celtics end up closing out this series, they will be 18-5 in finals. And again, basketball is 185 and 68. The finals began on a anniversary of the killing of a Kennedy. RFK died on June 6, 68. Again, that was the Celtics' birthday. Basketball equals 68 and 22. That when RFK died, it was the Celtics' 22nd birthday. Both basketball and Boston got the 22. And Matthew Whitaker and Donald John Trump both equal 220, which doesn't look too far off from 22. And for the record, Matthew Whitaker is also 85 like Boston in basketball. And Trump with the 76. And that one comes up a lot with Skull and Bones rituals, which is a whole other story. Clarence Thomas is about to turn 76 later this month, and he did write the majority opinion. So, yeah, I wonder if Clarence Thomas, man, I hope he lives to be, the max age in the Bible is 120, right? At some point, the max age for humans is 120. And funny enough, the word Illuminati is 120. And it seems like a lot of these Illuminati types do live to be 100 plus. But yeah, I hope he gets to live the max existence. I just worry for him turning 76. And what I really wish is like, I guess if I was writing like a child fantasy, like trying to turn what I'm trying to do into the Hollywood ending, I'd want like a Clarence Thomas to come across and like spill the beans. He knows his time's up. Clarence Thomas is going to put out a message that people need to know what's really up, and he apologizes that he sold us out for decades. I'd be like, man, what a winner. Okay, yeah, that makes up for 30. Well, I don't know if it makes up, but man, because like, wouldn't it be nice if just a whole bunch of people selling us out just all cracked and just came clean? They might do that on the last day when it's too late, but it's crazy how many people have never questioned the system that and that's the thing too. Clarence Thomas does do that. People will be like, oh, well, how come everybody else didn't come out and say it then too? I'll only believe it if my favorite politician says it. Okay. I just want to make sure I hit all the main points here. Something else weird about this guy's full name, Matthew George Whitaker. The smaller way, his full name is 107 and 109, just like shooting. And remember how big the 107 theme is with JFK. Again, it would have been his 107th birthday this year, May 29th, 2024. John Fitzgerald Kennedy equals 107. And the Celtics came in plus 107 points scored against the Mavericks all-time head-to-head, and then won game 1 with 107 points. Again, JFK with this Dallas, Massachusetts connection. So just how all of this is just coming together, while you got this game down in Dallas, Texas. Alex Jones, the other piece of this on the Genesis Radio Network where we began. Alex Jones, his court ruling is in Texas. The day of game 4 associated with death. How they're always connecting these big sports games to big death rituals. Before, during, after. I mean, people haven't been, their eyebrows haven't been going up about some of these deaths. The Mavericks and the Celtics were 46-4. The Celtics led in the all-time series 46-40 versus the Mavericks before game 1 of the finals was played. 86 games were played. The term finals was coined in 86. And then Jerry West dies at 86. Again, while the Celtics are on 78 total wins for the year with all these 78s in this 78th season. And again, go back and look at the spacing. Game 1, June 6th. Spacing for Game 2, June 9th. Spacing for game 3, June 12th, all 3 days apart. And now game 4, they just got to fudge it 2 days to Trump's 78th birthday. And look at what game 5, 6, and 7 are scheduled for. They're all scheduled 3 days apart if need be. This was the only game they skipped 2 days to make sure it was on Trump's birthday. Guy we've been connected to mega sports rituals for a long time. But yeah, all these characters on the world stage. And then he serves Trump and then signs off on that. And then he's out of there on the 45th day of the year. Valentine's Day, a year to the day of the Stoneman Douglas shooting, where probably the biggest thing he did in the time was in there. What was sign off on that bump stock? How much taxpayer money did he collect along the way to do the quick sign off on the more rights and liberties for American citizens? Again, the other side of the equation, you guys, is so for again the other side of this equation that needs to be said besides all the number stuff is, remember, having this thing, this bump stock can make you a lot more accurate and put out a lot more bullets where you want them in a quick period of time without nearly as much recoil over, so you're shooting all over the place. The reason that an American citizen, by the original constitutional idea, was intended to have things, more on par with government. That was kind of the idea, was that we're actually supposed to be on par with the government. But along the way, they said, okay, so what are we just going to have everyone have a nuclear bomb? But the idea of it being on par was in case tyranny took over the government. And we know at this point that they're way more advanced than us. And, people have nice semi-automatic rifles if they're legal, and there are people who have illegal weapons that are probably could be beyond what standard issue military is, but or by a lot too if you have automatic weapons. I mean, but yeah, the idea is you're supposed to focus on making a good society so that you don't have to worry about bad apples taking away your right to protect yourself from tyranny. And that's you never see that anywhere in the public programming. Nobody's really coming on and bringing those kind of arguments with any sincerity. And if somebody might leave a clip, they're like, oh, look at this footage from 1997 of this guy actually saying that. It's like, okay, all right, you got me. 1997 though, so it's been over 30 or nearly 30 years since you heard anything like that on TV. I mean, that'd be my point, compared to the 10 million, more than that, just infinite number of examples of the exact type of opposite rhetoric where they're scaring you out of your rights and liberties. And come on, like there's ever going to be a revolution in America. That Greg Gutfeld guy on Fox News, like he's always making arguments like that. Like any idea of a revolution is totally ridiculous. I'm pretty sure it's him. I could be confusing him with another person, but it's like these people are, they're so comfortable where they are on TV, getting way overpaid to tell bad jokes. It's like, that's not how, I mean, if everybody saw how bad we're getting screwed and what we're actually paying for, I mean, where do the lies end? Where's the ritualism end? I mean, it doesn't end, right? We're documenting it every day. Look at what's up there while this is going on. Why the Pope invited 100 comedians to the Vatican. I don't even know. I didn't know. Okay. So yeah, just to bring all this together one more time, you got the bump stock ban after the Stoneman Douglas shooting, where Alex Jones was shown as opposition to these young kids that want gun safety, so this doesn't have to happen again in anybody else's high school. But anyway, Alex Jones going down, losing the First Amendment case, and now supposedly having to give up, his rights to his business. and you know what I look at this really as is, I mean, it's all for show, isn't it? Do you ever think InfoWars was really here? I'm gonna show you just how InfoWars wasn't his, and like I've been saying all these years, he's been their perfect little puppet. Today's ritual is just undeniable. It's undeniable what they've done here with Alex Jones at InfoWars on the Genesis Radio Network. I've been making these points since the beginning, for a long time. a long time, and people just, I don't know, man. It shows you a lot of people are just immovable objects. They're like, I don't care. I still won't admit I'm wrong. Donald Trump, Alex Jones, they're better than. It's like, oh my god. Again, you guys, exactly 138 months from the Sandy Hook shooting. And remember, Sandy Hook was compared to the Dune Blaine massacre, and it happened 201 months after the Dune Blaine massacre. And forget the tennis player's name who supposedly survived the Dune Blaine massacre. If you don't know about the Dune Blaine massacre, look it up. It got gun rights taken away in the UK. But exactly 138 months after the shooting, a lot of 138s in Trump's time. I noticed that from the day that Alex Jones was ordered to pay the Sandy Hook families to today, the day of the judge approving the liquidation, which means it should all get underway now. People should get paid. It's 612 days, that total span. And remember, the 612 area code is Minneapolis, and the Stoneman Douglas Eagles school got really shot up right after the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl in Minneapolis over Brady. Again, we're talking about how that thing's being paid tribute to right now, that same Super Bowl, back when Trump took on the protesters of the flag on 23/9 when he took office while the flag was 239 years old. And again, that's the 52nd prime, and it was the year of Super Bowl 52. But Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, that woman's from Minneapolis. The school in Florida that got shot up is named after her. And their logo, the Eagles, look exactly the same as the Philadelphia Eagles logo. And there was this long pattern of 612 in mass shootings. And I wrote about this in my first book. And what's funny is my old website, which still has a lot of posts, but Google's taken away tons and tons of posts. I mean, literally over 1,000 posts have been deleted by Google from that website. I had nearly 40,000 posts on that website, and I forget how many it's taken away. But one of the very first ones that we noticed that got taken away was my long post on the documentation of 612 in mass shootings. And I was so annoyed that they took it away because there was so much time and so many updates put into that post, and then I couldn't remember all of it. But there's a long history with 612 in shootings, and it's definitely in the Dune Blaine massacre, which was compared to Sandy Hook. And hold on, this is the wrong. I linked the wrong thing. Maybe this is what I meant to link. Okay, so this was like a more recent post, just trying to remember some 612 things, and it was spurred on by the latest news at the time of 6 killed and 12 injured. And shout out to young Ben wherever he went. 612. He was talking about how they took down the 612 post. And here, when is this post from? This post is from April of 2022. So it's over 2 years ago. We were already talking about how that post had been deleted. It's been a while since they removed a lot of posts. But from the Pulse nightclub shooting on June 12th to the Stoneman Douglas shooting on Valentine's Day was 612 days later. So from the 612 shooting, the motto out of Pulse was Orlando Strong, which has a Sumerian value of 612. Valentine is also 612, like police. Those are in the times 6 cipher, where you just count the alphabetic order times 6. But Columbine High School has the 612, like Dune Blaine Massacre. And there's even more. I mean, this is a short list, but now it's this pattern, and Alex Jones just having to pay that many days later. Like, what are the odds? Today is the kill date for the month as well, too. I haven't even looked at the obituaries today. Hopefully it's the month the streak finally breaks. It's been going since Dick Gregory died. It's a long time now. But yeah, it's just I get blown away by the people, like the Owen Benjamins of the world. He had that recent debate with High Impact Flicks, and both of those guys have made a handful of videos at least over the years, taking shots at me and my work, saying this is dumb and meaningless. And then these are guys who are sometimes, well, not so much Brian, but Owen sometimes getting sucked into the whole political thing, as far as I know. It's like, dude, every day you can apply this knowledge and see the same stuff's going on that we've been talking about for years ago. Yeah, I mean, this goes right back to what we were covering in all through 2017, 2016. Okay. All right. With regards to the Alex Jones thing, again, this is the other big piece from the top. Again, it's Trump's 78th birthday. Very special number as we began with. It connects the Jesuits and the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. It connects tarot cards. It connects the 78th verse of Genesis. It connects to the surnames Cleveland and Kennedy. Again, Trump's trying to become the nation's Grover Cleveland. Grover Cleveland's the only split-term president. He was number 22 and number 24. Trump's trying to do it in 2024. He announced officially for 2024 and 2022, the year that his ex-wife died in the huge Jesuit ritual, exactly 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year. And this is the 60th election, but again, Cleveland and Kennedy are 78. They've been drawing parallels to Trump and Kennedy, and they've done it with other presidents too, but they've done it a lot with Trump in all kinds of ways, including Trump releasing those Kennedy files. But go back to Inauguration Day 2017, Melania, the first to wear baby blue in 56 years since Jackie Kennedy. Anyhow, again, Alex Jones, Trump, guns, his 78th birthday. Alex Jones on the 78 network or the Genesis radio network. Again, that's what Alex Jones InfoWars is on, the Genesis radio network. Or Genesis Communications Network. Look at this. Alex Jones made it with Waco. David Koresh was killed at age 33 in a very by-the-numbers siege. And Alex Jones began his career doing this out of Waco. Waco was his birth into the realm of fame. You know, it grew a lot from then, but that was the big opening, the Waco siege. And notice, today is the 181st day of the Pope's age. David Koresh is 181. The Pope is 87 right now. Waco siege equals 87. And there's been so many rituals with the Pope in 87. Keep in mind, the first game of this year's NBA Finals was the 87th game between those teams. Year after year, the sports championships synced up with the big man, the Pope. And also, you just see how they do it on the local political and countrywide levels, too, as we've documented, especially here in the States where we are. But the Waco Masonic Lodge, funny enough, the siege was on the 87th day. And keep in mind, that's Ignatius of Loyola. God, I was missing that back then. Ignatius of Loyola equals 87. That's the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola became the first superior general of the Jesuit order, a position appointed by the Catholic Church. So Ignatius of Loyola, 87. Pope Francis is 87 right now. He's the first Jesuit pope. Ignatius of Loyola started the order. So isn't this funny now? Because this post right here is from, when's this post from? This post is from June. Oh, it's funny. This post is 2 years and a day old. We were looking more on the day leaving 201 days into Waco because we knew how connected it was to Oklahoma City, which was a massive 201 ritual on April 19th. So yeah, that's what we pulled out of it that year. Ignatius of Loyola has the 87 and 201 connection. So now here we are, the Pope's 87. And again, Waco siege, David Koresh, Alex Jones. It's all going down. His number's up. His time's up. Remember, 181 is the 42nd prime number. InfoWars equals 42. World War equals 42. Again, Joe Biden born in 42. That was the year we first deployed troops to World War because Pearl Harbor happened at the end of 41. First troops deployed from the U.S. in 42. World War 42. Wars 42. Jesuits 42. Georgetown 42. Freemason 42, the letters DC are 42 in Sumerian Gematria. Again, DC is the Masonic city, but where the Jesuits set up camp first. World War III, the phrase written out, 3 spelled out T-H-R-E-E, World War III, 181. Rumors of world war, rumors of war, biblical concept. The New Testament begins with the 42 generations of Jesus. Again, New Testament equals 42 like math, like Matthew's the first book. I need to get a drink of water. My throat's rough real quick, Truth Seeker. Let me get some water. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Whew. Getting too old. My throat is wearing out. I want to make sure I hit all the points on the bump stock thing. There are some other finer notes here. If you guys don't follow my website at GematriaEffectNews, it's just I know sometimes I'm already going over the number limit. So, but yeah, there are little finer details too. It's just yeah. I wish somehow, some way, man. We need somebody in the world in a prominent place to really help get this out. I just this game, man, it has to come to an end. Mm. There's like I've said this a lot. There's obviously something deeper to the Jesuits in 41. 41's the 13th prime. Of course, Jesus and his 12 disciples. They're the Society of Jesus. The moon has the 13-month cycle. There's the older world zodiac that has 13 constellations. USA equals 41. Again, the 13th prime, 13 stripes. Uh, the USA was formed in the time of the Jesuit suppression. Formed in the time of the Jesuit suppression, and the Jesuit suppression lasted 41 years. So the 41 here with this thing with Matthew Whitaker is 41 days after he took his interim position with Attorney General. He signed off on this bump stock ban. And I guess the one other thing that's interesting about the 41 is just in light of the sports realm of this as well. Dallas is a very 41 city established in 1841 in Gematria. Dallas equals 41 and 13. LA's like that too. LA equals 41 and 13. And again, just JFK's death anniversary. Kennedy equals 78. The tributes they've been doing in these finals, the celebrities who've died. Jerry West, who came into the league the year that Kennedy was drafted. Kennedy was like Showtime. He was the television age president, Mr. Handsome. Jerry West is going with the Lakers from the land of 10,000 lakes, Minnesota to LA at the same time. And again, Chet Walker dies, whose rookie season ended in the year that JFK was assassinated. And again, he died 107 days after his birthday, right after the big 107 ritual in game one, paying tribute to Kennedy, who would have been 107. And like we said, even this man who's part of this story today, Matthew George Whitaker, 107 and 109, just like shooting. So Clarence Thomas, he will turn 76 9 days from today. Okay. Yeah, again, I was making the point that how perfectly synced this is just with the Pope and 78. Remember, the word Jesuit itself equates to 78. I'm trying to remember. Pope Francis, when he became Pope, that was March 13th, 2013. He did that big ritual in DC September 23rd, 2015. So yeah, he would have been 78 years old when he did that. That's back when Trump was just beginning to run for president, and Trump did win that 58th election, announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower, Pope Francis equals 58. He became a Jesuit in 1958. Trump went to Fordham, the Jesuit school in New York. But yeah, the Pope was 78. Remember, the Pope is the 266th Pope in the history of the church. The Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator, equals 266. And again, he spoke in DC on the 266th day of the year on a calendar named after a Pope that has a 52-week year like Pope's 52. September 23rd can be written 23/9 like 239, the 52nd prime. And that was the year Trump had his ritual taking on the protesters of the flag, the year of Super Bowl 52. But Isus Hominum Salvator 266, 266th Pope, did it in DC on the 266th day of the year. That was the day he spoke there. And he was 78 years old at the time. Jesuit 78. Scottish Rite equals 78. The Scottish Rite has their headquarters in DC. Rites of the Scottish Rite were written by Jesuit priests. Again, the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite uses the motto "In Merum de Gloriam," which is the same motto the Jesuits use, for the greater glory of God. Isus Hominum Salvator is Jesus, Savior of man. And Merum de Gloriam, for the greater glory of God. And both mottos have numbers that are very interesting, but we're just talking about the Isus Hominum Salvator, which are the IHS, the letters in their logo. If I didn't mention earlier, again, just about how President Donald Trump is 248. If I forgot to say so, Manhattan Criminal Court, where he just made history, is also 248. Remember, they did give him a break on the Illuminati's 248th birthday, which is May 1st, the same day the Mavericks were established in history. And tonight, the game 4 fudged for Trump's 78th birthday. Again, it's going to be the Mavericks' 248th game in the playoffs all time. They're 117 and 130. And again, you guys, just the way right now, because we've been doing this for so long, it's amazing how much more challenging they've made all narratives. It's like the last game was on number 41's birthday anniversary, and historically, the 41 just dominates on that day. The Angels were the team that had a nice, clean 41 upset ritual on number 41's birthday. But the Mavericks could have got their 41st win against the Celtics all time and did not. And again, I mean, that's pretty interesting, especially since Dallas is 41 town. But the thing I saw out of the gate before a game was played was it was 152 days before the election, and if the Celtics won the first 3, they'd be 15-2 in the playoffs. Again, Joe Biden won 52, Secret Service named Celtic. They did end up doing that. But again, like, it's hard. There's a total narrative for the sweep tonight in the Mavericks Celtics game because of this whole 248 thing. What's crazy is if the Mavericks do lose tonight, they will literally get their 48th home loss in the playoffs on Donald Trump's birthday. And again, we've talked a lot about 48 as well with Donald Trump, and 60 in light of the 60th election. So they have it set up like that, but the way this season is, it's just, that's why I taught people, when you're going to play this game with this knowledge now, you can still see the rigging, and you can show your friends and family exactly what they're doing with the numbers and rituals, but they've made it really challenging in recent times to call a lot of games because um, the 248 sweep thing makes a ton of sense. It's the Celtics' 23rd time in the finals. We've seen a lot of sweep rituals over the year with 23. It's all there, but there's also something right in front of your face if you know the code. 118 is a big number in Dallas, and it's also a number with the Celtics, and it was also just part of Bill Walton's death ritual. And again, Walton died 18 days ago, and the Celtics can get their 18th championship today in their 18th game. So it's like years ago, we weren't running into constant conflict like this in the way they script these games. But it's like now they've got it so it's like I don't even know how they're doing it. But it's amazing. It's amazing how they do put it all together and how they have it. Again, understand gambling in the United States has become a huge thing in recent years because of all the legalization and the apps and the convenience, which can be very dangerous for people who can't control themselves because it's just so easy to place a big electronic amount of money because you think you got the $1 million winner, and then all of a sudden you got a big hole and you got to figure out how to pay for it. But yeah, once upon a time, this knowledge, people are taking big swings and hitting a lot of home runs. It can still be done. It's just way harder. Again, Celtics is 118. Dallas, Texas is 118. So it's like they've put together the perfect sweep 18 narrative right after Jerry West dies, so he doesn't have to see it with his own eyes. The same Celtics that were 6-0 against him in finals. Think about that in light of the year of the 60th election. The Celtics were 6-0 versus Jerry West in the big championship series. But yeah, and you see how like Dallas, Texas is 179. If you're following sports, the day that the Mavericks went down 0-3, the first game of the day, that was June 12th, right? 612, like Minneapolis is the 612 area code. The first game of the day in baseball on the slate was in Minneapolis, the 612 area code on 612, and they beat, I think it was Oakland that they beat down good 17-9, like 179, the 41st prime on number 41's birthday. And Oakland's one of those teams with a 41 connection. You might recall where that fit in when Kobe retired, and it was 41 years after his father was drafted by the Warriors. And of course, Kobe Bryant's 41 and a million 41s. And then years later, Kobe dies at 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age, traveling from Catholic Mass. And then they're doing all these Super Bowl rituals with him, which we're pointing out year after year, in light of how he died the Sunday before Super Bowl 54, and Kobe Bryant's 41, and Kobe Bean Bryant, his full name is 54. But yeah, I just showed it the other day. If you want to look it up, when Donald Trump claimed the presidency, when it was called for him, he was on 248 electoral votes. And again, the Illuminati 248 right now just happened May 1st on the Mavericks' birthday. Country's about to be 248. Big ritual in the courthouse, 248. The mug shot on 24/8. It just, you got to say, how can it be, And again, the Adelson family that backed Donald Trump big time. Donald Trump, who turned 78 today, she took over the team at age 78 in the 78 season with all these 78s. I mean, how couldn't this be one giant script? How could that? How could this be anything other than a script? And again, for all the people who come here and say that a human being could never do this, I always come back to why not? I mean, there's like so many running shows and TV series that they've been scripted out almost every day for decades now. Why couldn't they do the same thing with the news? Scripted sports that look like they're scripted, doesn't look like God's intervening in these games most of the time. I have seen some weird things well, let me put an asterisk next to my statement. I've seen some weird stuff that do make me wonder. But a lot of this stuff looks like it's highly contrived and very controversial and suspect calls to maintain outcomes or turn around outcomes. And just these cast of characters too, and all the hints over the years and realizing that they are into Kabbalah. And you got Trump going on Oprah in 88 talking about the presidency when Trump equals 88, like the Republican Party. I was talking about that yesterday with the Supreme Court decision about the Trump too small package thing, the latest 88 ritual to go with his not too long ago now Mar-a-Lago raid on 8/8 when we've been covering Trump and 88 rituals since 2015. And don't forget that the word judge equals 78 either. Again, Trump put in more Supreme Court justices in a single term than any president in history. And remember, Trump and Judge, they have a lot in common in Gematria. If you compare them, they both equate to 47. They both equate to 88. They both equate to 25. Trump got his first Supreme Court Justice, Neil McGill Gorsuch, on April 7th, 4-7. That's also the 97th day of the year, and Supreme equals 97, like Supreme Court. But if I can type out his name here with one hand, Neil McGill Gorsuch for one more, 88. And he's got the 187, like Washington, D.C., like George Washington, like Holy Roman Empire, like Brotherhood of Death, like Society of Jesus, like how from Trump's birthday to the Pope's is a span of 187 days. You could also say it's 186 days apart, and Vatican Hill's 186. But yeah, lock her up. Now he's the one facing the criminal charges. Could it amount to lockup with some of these other cases that have been pushed off? Can you imagine that Donald Trump's the president and sentenced to prison? How does that work? They have to look into that one. Be a new reality TV series, President on Lockup. Subscribe to Elon Musk's X to get instant access to and chat in real time with the president while he's on lockdown. Can you imagine if it plays out just like the Simpsons thing? And again, in the Simpsons, they have Ivanka Trump running for president in 2028. Oh man, how bad will it get? Okay, but yeah, I think we hit the main points. I get lost in my thoughts like always. And here's what else I got to say. Our young truth seeker, Jay with Open Eyes, the talented musician, the man always trying to understand life and nutrition better. He's been battling through some health ailments. Now he's battling through some more censorship. Sadly, he's having to start his 4th channel. I always get amazed at how they just take out people's channels. I don't even like listening to Jay. I just think, what is he getting censored for? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that they just can't let people have a voice and share their thoughts and ideas. It's like that's the thing that really needs to happen in society at this day age, where big tech is trying to, and they are, man. And it's crazy, the AI technology with the censorship capability, how much worse it could even be. Yeah, it's just, yeah, people need to, there needs to be a movement so that people can accept, especially in an age where people are uploading their social media page. It's so easy to say, listen, if you don't like what they're saying, don't go to their page, or try to persuade them. And if they're just rude and crude, just leave them alone. I mean, they're probably going to disappear into obscurity. They're just going to keep talking shit online, and it doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, he had to start over. So if you want to help him out, it's all one word, Jay with Open Eyes, space number 4 for the 4th channel. So, and yeah, again, shout out to Derek for just catching that there was something going on with Hunter Thompson and Hunter Biden. When he said that, I said, okay, now where he went with it in the numbers is not where I was expecting him to go. He had it all said in an early sentence, and then I was just like, he might have come back to it at the end of the video. I couldn't finish, but I was like, how does he not? Okay. So Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in the book, he showed in his presentation that the book came out in 72. And I want you to see how important this is. Here, I'm gonna change the audio setting real quick so it's easier for me to type and this isn't so slow. Oh, snap. Oh man, I'm bad. I've been on the other audio setting. I've been holding the mic and not even on the good speaker. All right, my bad, you guys. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, book publishing date. All right. Well, this says 71. The thing that he had showed 72. This is what I hate about the internet now as well. Okay, here's what it is. It came out as a magazine, November 11th, 71, and then the book was published July 7th, 72. Okay, so the book published in 72, but also a magazine, November 11th, 71. Okay, interesting. So 72, 1972 election. I want you to see that this was the 47th quadrennial presidential election. Okay, so the same year Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas comes out is the year of the 47th. You know, that means it's the 47th selection of the president of the United States. If you're new here, again, we talk about 47 all the time. Huge time, government, authority number. And Joe Biden, he would eventually become the 47th vice president, and then he would become president 47 years after being in federal office. He took federal office at the start of 73. He was called president-elect in 2020, 47 years later. And in Gematria, president equals 47, like White House, like government, like authority, like Republican, like Democrat, and the list goes on. And when he took office as the 47th vice president, Obama was 47 years old at the time. So we're going to look at the spacing of 47 from the Hunter Biden guilty verdict back to the anniversary date for Hunter S. Thompson. And again, with regards to 72, Jesuit order equals 72. Run it the other way, Jesuit order equals 54, like how old Hunter Biden is at the time of this ritual. And it goes with Beau Biden, which equals 54, dying when Joe Biden was 72. George Wallace was in that election. Again, George Wallace, the 45th governor of Alabama, who they compared to Trump, who had the assassination on him by Arthur Bremer, who Robert De Niro's character is modeled after in Taxi Driver. And Robert De Niro outside of the court with the verdict 45 days after it began with 45-year-old Stormy Daniels. And 45 days from his wife's death anniversary, who died 45 years after their marriage, gone with the joke about him being the 45th president from Obama on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, when again, mega's the highest degree of the church. And the Jesuits have their fingerprints all over the Church of Satan as well. But yeah, look at this. Let me pull up the Hunter S. Thompson. He was born July 18th. Interesting date. It's kind of like that 187 we were just talking about. He died February 20th, 220. We were just talking about how Donald John Trump's 220, and so is the name of the attorney general who signed off on the bump stock ban. Hunter Thompson died at 67, that blood sacrifice number. And hold on. I'm already getting amnesia. Okay, it must Was the Hunter Biden verdict 3 days ago? Was it June 11th? It was deliberating June 10th. Okay, it was June 11th. It was 177 days after the Pope's birthday. And again, the Jesuit order and oh no, I wrote his I gotta fix the title. The title that Hunted Biden. Okay. Hunter Biden found guilty on all charges. But yeah, this was 177 days after the Pope's birthday, and this was June 11th. Okay, so look at this. From, I think, his last birthday anniversary to June 11th, 2024. Look at this. It's exactly a span of 330 days, which is 47 weeks in a day, or you could say it's exactly 47 weeks later. Exactly 47 weeks. All the 47s with the presidency, the government rituals, the time, the authority. Again, literally a gazillion examples, you guys. Look into Freemasonry. They study the 47th problem of Euclid. Again, the evidence, the significance would be that George Washington was a Freemason, and he laid the cornerstone for D.C. on September 18th, 1793, a date with 47 numerology. And in Masonry, it has to do with establishing foundation. The word foundation is also 47. On 9/11, they had to tell you the 47-story building, 7 fell, each floor 47,000 square feet. And again, the first two towers that fell were 110 stories, and then Building 7 was 47. Osama bin Laden, the big way, is 110. Osama bin Laden, the small way, is 47. The word news is also 47. It's just a number that's abused in the news. So we were looking at how that satanic panic and Church of Satan, how all of that fit together. Trump just had a big old ritual the other day with paying tribute to that and the whole mega thing. Um, I see somebody said, let me call in real quick. Here, you got the call in number? Sure. Let me open up the line. Yeah, feel free to call in. You know the number. Okay. I see the chat commentary is sports. Um, what's up, 619?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's going on?
So I had this little observation. You know how 128 has been playing really big this year?
Well, it was big in the bridge collapse.
So Luka Doncic, he had his career high point game, 73 points, 128 days before number 73 on Dallas Cowboys died, right? I think after Celtics win the finals or whatever happens, June 21st is 128 days after the mass shooting that happened in Kansas City.
Okay, for the Super Bowl.
I feel like there might be something big that they got in store for us on that day. Like maybe another mass shooting after the finals for
Boston. Well, hopefully not. But yeah, the way these people operate, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, and then June 21st also written 21/6, like 6 times 6 times 6. How they've been playing that the whole playoffs with Boston. That shit just makes sense, you know.
Okay.
That'll be it, though. I just wanted to call in and share that with you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in.
All right, take care.
All right, take care. Somebody says 47 degrees on the tilt of the Earth in a great year every 72 years. Again, the sun's on that 72-year cycle. I'll have to look into that. I never heard that one before. That's news to me. Huh. I'm not sure that is right, though. I'm not sure that's correct. You might want to double check that one. Okay, let me see if there's any other breaking headlines here on Trump's 78th birthday. Again, isn't it something, you guys? So that they've elevated this to the top story. Okay, so this is an updated headline. The judge approved his liquidation plan, but now he's rejected his bankruptcy plan. It's not going to let him get back in the game. And okay, see, you guys, I get the joke because Donald Trump, his bankruptcy plans have worked out for him many a times. He's filed a lot of bankruptcies, and essentially, when you're doing that, you're getting the taxpayers to pay for your losses. So Donald Trump, he's a man who loves to use the people. And all the little mega people don't get the big sick joke on him. But yeah, this is part of the joke too, because Alex Jones, sorry, Alex, you're not on the level of Donald. We brought you in because you were just so rambunctious at Waco. Okay. Here, let's read about. I get the joke. Remember, you guys, it's exactly 138 months after Sandy Hook happened, and Alex Jones equals 138, and Donald Trump equals 138, and federal equals 138. And there's obviously something more to it. Misfits, we are 138. Don't forget August 15th. August 15th, the Jesuit birthday, is the day leaving 138 days left in the year. 138 days remain in the year on August 15th, the Jesuit birthday. Trump lost his brother the other year on August 15th. A Texas bankruptcy judge has rejected a proposed liquidation of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones' company, Free Speech Systems, the parent company of InfoWars, saying that a denial of the bankruptcy plan was, in his opinion, in the best interest of the creditors. The judge in the case, Chris Lopez, said the process had dragged on and that it needed to stop incurring costs and let the families try to claim what they are owed through state courts. Earlier on Friday, Lopez approved the liquidation of Jones' personal assets after the conspiracy theorist agreed to convert his personal bankruptcy into a Chapter 7 liquidation last week. The right call is to dismiss this case, Lopez said Friday, noting that the interim trustee and later the permanent trustee in Jones' personal case would have an interest in the case. Hold on, I want to... Lopez made his ruling in a lengthy decision where he seemed emotional at times, once even noting the timing of this decision being made shortly before Father's Day. The attorney of the families had to say, "Today is a good day. Alex Jones has lost ownership of InfoWars, the corrupt business he has used for years to attack the Connecticut families and so many others," said Chris Mattei, an attorney for the families. You know, see, I feel like there needs to be a countersuit. I've never liked Alex Jones. I don't think of this like me getting behind Alex Jones. I feel like there needs to be a countersuit of all the people. There's a lot of us, by us, who've had our work destroyed because of supposedly Sandy Hook families. My work, I never said that I never claimed to know anything definitively about Sandy Hook, other than it fits a long pattern of perfectly numerical rituals where a lot of things don't add up, but you see the same formula: the big scare, and then the push to take away rights and liberties, and then I'm pairing it with history and how these numbers associate with certain orders, like the Jesuits, who do have a lot of problem. It's just so anyway. They have destroyed my work. Almost all the channels I've lost have come back to Sandy Hook, and I mean thousands of videos, thousands of hours. It's ridiculous. These people have destroyed free speech. I don't even like Alex Jones, but if I have to choose who I like more, the Sandy Hook families going after the First and Second Amendment, or Alex Jones. I'm sorry, I like Alex Jones a lot more because they didn't try. Well, I shouldn't say a lot more because I don't like Alex Jones at all. But I really don't like the people who I. And again, see, that's the thing. Are they trying to make a line in the sand where you can't even assume that people could be lying to you? You're not even allowed to make that assumption because it looks like there's a lot of evidence that they are. Looks like something's definitely being covered up. Here, I want to get to the bottom of why it's so synced up with Dune Plane, the ongoing 201s, all these tragedies from 9/11 to all these things that they try to put into your mind a million times to reshape the way you want to be governed over. I mean, that's kind of the game. Look, all these problems, let government solve them for you with this, this, and this. And it's a decade later, and you realize, wait a minute, this, and this. I don't even think that came up again, but look at the problems it's caused in my life. How much more expensive it is. Somehow you're even less safe. You're more broke, less rights and liberties, less safe. It's kind of how it's been going, hasn't it? In the 21st century, as they scare you more and more out of your rights and liberties. Anyway, it says Jones founded InfoWars, an influential conspiracy empire in the late 1990s. Over the years, Jones has used the media company to poison the public discourse with lies and conspiracy theories. The most poison I've ever seen in the media in my lifetime, well, it's actually hard to pin down. But I mean, in the time of the pandemic, I heard a whole lot of pushing of some rushed out things that don't seem like they did that great of a job, and all this rhetoric about how if you didn't get one, you were a horrible person, but then, none of us have myocarditis. I don't know. I think that was a lot more poisonous because most of them don't even listen to Alex Jones. I mean, how many people in America have actually listened to Alex Jones? I bet you it's close to 1 in 20. 1 in 20. How many people do you think have heard CNN in their lifetime? I mean, it's like impossible not to have heard of it. Screens everywhere. Okay. Jones founded InfoWars, an influential conspiracy empire, blah, blah, blah. Poisoned the public discourse with lies and conspiracy theories. And he also enriched himself, making millions of dollars in the process. Well, according to wasn't it HBO that did the documentary? They're showing that he was like making millions per day on supplements. So what is it? Did he make millions over a lifetime, or was he really like raking in like millions a day? It sounded like he might have been a billionaire. I think they ran that documentary or whatever that was, if it was on HBO or Showtime, shortly before he was ordered to pay all that money. He had like $1 billion tab. It's like, well, they made it seem like he made $1 billion pretty often with all those supplements. The families have not received payment for the approximately $1.5 billion in judgments they have won. 1.5. Oh, man. Lies and conspiracy theories. Since founding InfoWars in the late 1990s, Jones has pushed several conspiracy theories, including the lie that the 2012 Newtown, Connecticut mass school shooting was a so-called false flag operation staged by the government, and that the grieving family members of 20 child victims were actors. Jones makes money on those conspiracy theories by hawking high-priced dietary supplements to his audience. Again, where's the hard evidence about anything with Sandy Hook? I mean, again, the surgeon is dead. He died many years ago now, at a pretty young age. What was his name? The laughing guy. They were wearing the cute kid stuff. He was laughing like Robbie Parker. Dr. H. Wayne Carver. He was carving up the children, and he thought their clothes looked real cute as he kind of chuckled on TV. I thought, that is weird, man. Doing autopsies of little children shot up, and he's like laughing. And there's even been segments in CNN over the years where they've even like inserted to talk about how some people in these tragic situations are just so overwhelmed that it's actually a human response to kind of laugh and giggle like that. I don't know. Maybe it is. They interject these things that just, oh, I guess that's possible. I guess that was the explanation for why it seemed like he was having a good old time in front of the cameras. Okay. Says Jones' regularly scheduled program was replaced with previously recorded interviews, airing conversations with Tucker Carlson and Russell Brand. Says the mood Friday on Jones' InfoWars was somber, with the far-right outlet's host speculating on its future. Chase Geiser, an InfoWars host who had driven with Jones to the courthouse where the bankruptcy hearing was underway, made a brief appearance on the outlet, attempting to twist the judge's decision as one that would net Jones an even larger audience. Yeah. Again, we'll see where the story goes next, but for years, just pointing out how, like when he got banned, he got 86th from social media on H6. Do you guys remember that? I mean, it was just like, how obvious is the ritual? Let's go back and look at that actually here in a minute. Let's see. Alex Jones, August 6th. I know it's going to be on my old website. Okay, this was the ritual. Facebook shuts down InfoWars and Alex Jones on Monday, August 6, 2018, 84 days after Mark Zuckerberg's birthday. Austin has that 84, like Masonry, like Jesuit, like Zionism. And again, Alex Jones has taken the opinion that kind of that China runs everything. Hollywood's run by China, just like Trump and the China virus. Okay. That was August 6th that happened to him, the 218th day of the year. Conspiracy theory equals 218. And here, just to double down on that, let's look up the Mel Gibson conspiracy theory movie real quick. That film debuted August 8th, 88. You know, Trump, Mr. 88. They associate Trump with conspiracies with Alex Jones. But that movie came out on 8/8, and it came out 218 days after Mel Gibson's birthday. And conspiracy theory, 218, and 88 in the base ciphers. You know, how perfect for the movie. So then here we are years later, right? That movie came out in 97. Now we're in, that was 2018. Time flies. But yeah, conspiracy theory 218. The day leaving 147 days left in the year as well. Just the word conspiracy alone is 147. Big number with the White House as well, the presidency. And again, this is the Facebook secret logo that used to be inside the hoodie. If you've ever seen that from, go back in 2010, Mark Zuckerberg's being interviewed in Germany. They ask him to take off the hoodie. He gets all kind of sweaty. And again, part of the joke that the woman ends up, when she sees us inside, she's like, oh, isn't that the symbol of the Illuminati? He was in Germany. That's where the Illuminati was founded, in Bavaria. But making the world open and connected as that 147. Freemason conspiracy. Alexander Jones, actually his full first name is Alexander. And there's this relationship with 47 and 147. In Genesis 47, Jacob dies at 147. The word 47th equals 147. Again, 147 and 47 are both big with the presidency. And then remember, next thing you know, they were censoring Donald Trump, showing like social media is even bigger than the highest appointed land in our government. I mean, what kind of flex is that? But 84 days from Israel's birthday to the banning. And that's actually what he was accused of being, anti-Semitic. And maybe that's why in more recent years he's kind of twisted everything to being China. I can't remember ever really being that big against Israel, but I was never a big Alex Jones guy. I mean, of course, like everyone, I saw the footage when he snuck into Bohemian Grove way back when and heard this about Alex Jones and that, but I don't know. I never really got into what he was talking about. He always seemed like a bullshitter to me. And yeah, but again, Mark Zuckerberg has the same birthday as Israel, May 14th. 84 days after Zuckerberg's birthday. Mark Zuckerberg, 84, like Zionism, like Masonry, like United States of America, like Jesuit, like the Jesuit order, like the Catholic Church. Austin's also 84, where he does a show from, like Alexander. The whole fake news thing going on back then. Trump making that term popular. George Orwell's 1984 becoming the #1 bestseller at the time. Trump took office. And remember, 1984 really is largely about censorship and how the authorities control the minds of the populace. And by the end of the film, he finally gives in. The main character finally gives in to the authorities at the end. And, you know, the system wins. But that's kind of how it was with Alex Jones. When wasn't it 2018 after Stoneman Douglas, where the tapes were coming out of what Alex Jones was saying when he was, you know, being interviewed about these things. And if you listen to him, it's like he's kind of like selling out people who question authority right now in a major way. I've been saying for years, this guy's a little puppet. And now look at him, 181st day of the Pope's age, 42nd prime. Here we are again. You know what I mean? Born on the 42nd day of the year is Alex. And no, I don't think Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. Again, look at both of them when they were both alive. They're both living. They were both doing their thing at the same time, and they look nothing alike at that time. No, I do not think they are the same person. And I think it's a shame to equate Bill Hicks with Alex Jones. I think Bill Hicks brought some funnies and some good perspective to some serious topics. And yeah, they might both be from the Austin area, but I think Alex Jones has done more of a disservice to the world. I don't think Bill Hicks, his legacy is a disservice to the world. Definitely not perfect, but yeah. Again, I remember at this time we were getting good views, and I remember this video. Like so many Alex Jones people were like, "You're so wrong. You're an idiot. Alex Jones is not controlled. He's." It's just like, God. I mean, you guys really think everything I just showed you today is a coincidence? And it's just like evidence on top of evidence. Some people just, if they believe in something, they don't ever want to give it a once. I guess that's the downside, kind of the heart, like the heart and the mind. Get this emotional attachment, your beliefs, your heroes. Alex Jones is your hero. There's no way he could be in on it. Come on, man. Like I was saying the same thing back in 2018. I'll say it again. You know, put up Alex Jones' resume of what he brought out in terms of information in the world and the cabal and how they operate. Put out his very best stuff and put it up against mine. I don't even think it's a contest. I don't think it's even. I don't even think. I mean, it's like he might have got a base hit that barely got through the infield. Man, we figured out something that's like a damn grand slam every day. Here, I'm sure I was documenting by then. Alex Jones, Donald Trump, 138. Let's go back. Might have this mega 138 ritual today. Maybe not. Hold on. Alex Jones, 138. Unless they're posts that have been taken down. Huh. I know we talked about it plenty of times over the years. Surprised nothing came up, actually. Alex Jones, Donald Trump. And that's the thing, too. It's just annoying that they've... let's see. That 150 thing. This is an older Alex Jones story. Alex Jones caught in lies about Sandy Hook tests. This is from August 3rd, 2022. That's the day leaving 150 days left in the year. And it's funny how that was the ad CNN had up that day. But that went in with the whole Saturn worship thing we were talking about earlier, and why that matters in light of what the Supreme Court did and Trump's 78th birthday. Huh. Well, I know that we've talked about Alex Jones, Donald Trump, and 138 many a times, but sometimes I just talk about things so many times in a video, I'm always surprised. I look back and I'm like, I didn't do a post for that? Anyway, here we are again. If you got here late, the quick soundbite. It's exactly 138 months. I might have said weeks a second ago. It's exactly 138 months after Sandy Hook happened. Alex Jones equals 138. Donald Trump's 138. That's your headline news. And again, Trump's bump stock ban overturned today on his birthday as well. And again, it's his 78th birthday, and Genesis equals 78. Alex Jones for the Genesis Radio Network. 78, big number with the Jesuits, the Masons, the tarot cards, the 78th verse of the Bible, all the stuff we started with. So it looks like these guys are perfect actors for the world stage. Now, is it possible that, I mean, like Donald Trump looks like he was definitely born into it. Was Alex Jones born into it? I don't know the answer to that question. He might have been. Or he might have been doing the right thing and been at the right place at the right time, and they might have said, this guy right here's got the right numbers. He's going to fit. We've been looking for this character. We've been looking for the conspiracy theorist with the same birthday as the Vatican, who's going to be just this right age at that right time. He's 50 years old right now, Alex Jones. How about that, you guys? He's 50 years old, man, on Donald's birthday. Again, Donald is 50. America's 50, the land of 50 states. The nation's capital, Washington, has that 50. And the interesting thing about the language is the word circle is 50. And again, a circle's the first step in magic. And again, you look into what gematria means and sacred geometry, and how sacred geometry has a lot to do with circles and the shape in sacred geometry that represents God. It's made out of 61 circles. You think about this nation's capital, Washington, D.C., it's got that 61 connection. But again, just in terms of it being the Society of Jesus or Jesuit stronghold, Jesus, of course, is 61, like church, like cross, like Christian, like Christmas, like they swear it on the Bible. Like they're using this code every day in all kinds of ways to essentially play God over our lives, controlling the information in our minds, the things we think about that shape our behavior. That's the game they understand. If they know if they can control the thoughts, they can control us. And you see how that works. I mean, scare everybody right out of this right and liberty, scare them into this mass, scare them into this experimental thing from this big for-profit company that the government got behind. And how did the government get behind them? Aren't they the most sued company in the history of the world for wrongful death and injury? Oh, how dare you make a video asking that question? Your channel's down for medical misinformation. I mean, and I'll remind you guys, my channel got taken down for the first time shortly after Trump took office on Elon Musk's birthday, June 28, 2017. And again, I was pointing out back then what a little puppet he was, only to get deleted on his birthday. And again, ever since he took over Twitter, now X, there's even more censorship on there. You're not allowed to use the phrase anymore on Twitter, synagogue of Satan. It automatically gets censored so nobody can see the post. It's like, okay, that's so I imagine that like you're a very, I mean, you're somebody who studies the Bible, you're sharing about the synagogue of Satan. I mean, it's crazy and that happened earlier this year. And you know, I mean, maybe that's our fault because again, when Netanyahu came back on 12/29/2022, we showed what 2023 had to do with the synagogue of Satan and Revelation 3:7 and Israel and why it looked like a war was certainly going to break out in that time while Israel's 75 years old. As we talked about in the video, possibly around the time Yale turns 322 years old. Again, war begins October 7th. Israel declares war October 8th. War declared, or the very next day, October 9th, was Yale's 322nd birthday. And let's not forget Yale, Skull and Bones, powerful secret society just down the street from Sandy Hook. Let's not forget that Skull and Bones is mentioned in the Batman TV series in the 33rd all-time episode. Look it up. About how Bruce Wayne's grandfather created Skull and Bones. But that year, you had the Batman movie premiere shooting in Aurora, Colorado. And then you had the Sandy Hook shooting. Both big stories. And don't keep in mind the anniversary of the Aurora shootings, July 20th, the 201st day of the year. And again, Sandy Hook compared to Dune Blaine, 201 months apart. Again, that huge Jesuit number. Also a Skull and Bones number. The movie The Skulls about Skull and Bones with Paul Walker came out 201 days after his birthday. Then he died 5 years to the day, George Herbert Walker Bush and the Society. But anyway, that Batman shooting, that year, if you look into it, they put out a map for Gotham City that you could buy as like a collector. And they changed the name of a neighborhood on the map. For all the years before in the Gotham neighborhood map, the neighborhood was called South Hinckley. It was SH, but literally they changed it for that year to Sandy Hook. So the big shootings that year, Batman and Sandy Hook, close to Skull and Bones, when Batman references Skull and Bones in the 33rd episode. And again, this is old stuff. This is what we were talking about back in the day. But Newtown, you know, the Newtown, Connecticut shooting. Newtown has the 33. So yeah, 33rd episode of Batman. Here, let's see if I still have that post up on my old site. Batman, Skull and Bones, 33. Yeah, right here. Came out in 1966. That was the year of the first NFL Super Bowl season, the 66-67 season. In the Batman movie, they pay tribute to the 322, the number associated with Skull and Bones. We started with Genesis 78. How the 78th verse of Genesis is Genesis 3:22, the tree of life, all the stuff we covered at the beginning. Old poster about the synagogue of Satan, Revelation 3:7, the letter written to the Church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan, both with the 223 connection. This post is from April of 2017. That episode, the 33rd episode, came out on May 4th. May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Jesuit order equals 54, like Jesuit priest. And remember, John Ritter, who died at 54. He has an episode of Three's Company where they live in apartment 201, where he jokes that he's a Jesuit priest. It came out on May 4th. Jesuit priest 54, Jesuit order 54. Again, John Ritter dead at 54 on September 11th. The anniversary of two towers becoming zero before they became one. 3 towers fell that day. Three's Company, room 201. But yeah, the Skull and Bones thing, the alumni of Skull and Bones, Bonesman is 33. Like masonry, like secrecy. Again, the buildings in DC, or not DC, but in New York, the World Trade Centers came down 33 years after construction began in 68, the same year George W. Bush got out of Skull and Bones. 1968, also when 911 was made the emergency dialing code. It's funny. Today I was looking long and hard at the number 124, and I was telling myself I don't know enough about the number 124. Something was 124 today. I forget what it was, but it's funny. I see this now. That episode came out on the 124th day of the year. Go back and figure out what I was looking at earlier with the 124. Yeah, this post just happens to have all those numbers I talked about. Abrahamic religions, ancient mystery religions. Military-industrial complex is another one. That was the phrase uttered by Eisenhower as he left office, his warning about how this military-industrial complex will grow to be our worst nightmare. We've got the 119th Congress upcoming. Trump once called Pres-elect on November 9th. Donald equals 119 like tarot cards. Yeah, keep that in mind. Again, 78 cards in the tarot deck. Tarot cards 119. The 119th Congress is who the next president takes office with. Donald Trump was called president-elect on November 9th with 248 electoral votes on the board at the time. He ended up getting more, but he was called while he had 248. Again, look it up. It's facts. While the country's 248 years old, it'll be the 119th Congress. And Trump left office when he was 74. Biden supposedly beat him, and they called the election for Biden while he was at 74 million votes on a way to a record 81 million. And by the way, President Trump is 81. President Biden is 81, right? Jerry Allen West is 81. This 81st game of the playoffs tonight on Trump's birthday after the death of Jerry West. And again, Kobe Bean Bryant had the career high 81. He died perfectly synced with Jerry West's 81st birthday. He died 243 days after Jerry West's 81st birthday. Again, all these actors on the world stage. Kobe born into it. His father was a pro in the NBA. Don't forget, in the last Batman movie, they attacked New York on November 5th, the day of the election. They associated with the Jesuits. Riddler's got the 119. Yeah, this is a whole post. I forgot there was this much information to it. Oh, that's right. It was 147 days, you guys, from the Aurora shooting to the Sandy Hook shooting. We were just talking about how conspiracy is also 147 in light of the Alex Jones ban, which connects to Sandy Hook. Isn't it funny how it all lines up? You know what else about that July 20th that's really standing out to me now? It's really standing out to me now, July 20th, typically the 201st day of the year. It is just making way too much sense now. Art of War Jesuit priest. Jean-Joseph Marie Amiot, again, 1772. 1772, publishes Art of War, supposedly based on a translation from an ancient Chinese war general, Sun Tzu, that there's no historical record of. But remember, when this whole war jumped off, we saw it 3 days in advance how it could be on October 7th in a big 207 ritual, and it was. And Art of War, the Jesuit text, the priest who wrote it, his name is 207. We saw how they just gathered all the world leaders to remember D-Day on the 207th day of the current Superior General's Age. Think about July 20th, you guys. It can be written 20/7 like 207. July 20th is typically the 201st day of the year, like the Jesuit order. Then the Sandy Hook happened, synced up. Again, 201 months from Dune Blaine, which got gun rights taken away in the UK. This country, with all the 201s, founded 4 years after Art of War, and a nation that's been at war almost every year of its existence. And again, in Art of War, if you've never read Art of War, you should read it. I mean, you can read it 1,000 times and still have more to think about. But again, there's a lot of concepts in there. One is it's better to win the war without even having to fight it. in the age of screens and everybody just believing what's on the screens, and Richard Nixon back in the 70s saying the American people only believe it if it's on the TV. I mean, we're deep in the game. How easy is it to control people just through screens and information? I mean, we're paying a lot of money for a war right now, but is a war even happening? I mean, in the same day that they say, you know, this U.S. official is flying into to Ukraine to meet with Zelensky, you got another headline right below it that says Putin ensures that the U.S. representative will be perfectly safe. And it's like, why is that Putin's attitude? Again, the Jesuits were saved in Russia. 201 Jesuit priests preserved the order in the time of their suppression. They were preserved. Catherine the Great preserved the Jesuit order with 201 Jesuit priests in Russia. And again, Biden and Putin met 201 days into the first Jesuitic nation year, right before Russia-Ukraine broke out. And they met on Pearl Harbor Day. And again, Hawaii became a state 201 months after Biden's birthday. Just that just shows you how deep the script is. Oh my God, they got Joe Biden's birthday synced. You guys, they wrote a script a long time ago, and they found the right people who are going to fit in with all the right mega rituals. Again, there's no other way to see it. Other than you think it's all divine intervention, which really is just creating the excuse for why you shouldn't do anything about anything. That's the real problem. If you realize this is going on, then we should get to the bottom of it. If it is divine intervention, then that needs to be found out too. But it looks like there's some serious corruption and mockery and long time planning and high ritual and always paying tribute to the same numbers that they've assigned from Kabbalistic and biblical meaning. Again, 201 represents light. Knowledge is light. Again, in English, funny enough, the phrase knowledge is power is 201. A group of illuminated ones, the Illuminati in the light, ruling over the unseeing masses who are just stuck in the cycle and whose minds are being controlled by these people with these Kabbalistic tactics. I mean, if it was all God and divine, why does the government need to be so corrupt and the nonstop propaganda and lies to people? If it's that's why all of you guys who think everything's divine, I don't think you guys are actually thinking. You're just believing. Isn't there ample evidence? Here, by the way, used to dominate with certain patterns in sports that all of a sudden just no longer work now that way more people are onto it. If it was all divine, shouldn't the same patterns just work at the same super high percentage rate? I mean, like 41 on 41's birthday hits like every year, except for this year it didn't. And that's kind of the way this baseball season's been. This season's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't look divine to me. It looks like it's all being manipulated. So yeah, again, for Alex Jones to become a celebrity and so well listened to, on what resume did he do it besides getting publicity for being controversial and sneaking into Bohemian Grove? Like, for all the Alex Jones diehards out there, what's the Alex Jones great contribution to the world in terms of waking people up to what's going on? Did he ever identify who was doing it? Yeah, the Chinese people that run Hollywood now. Oh, okay. Yeah. The Far East does have a lot to do with it. The Jesuits got a lot of their knowledge from the East. Shout out to Almighty GI. It's Al Horford's 185th playoff game today. That's a great observation in light of Celtics being on the verge of being 18-5 in finals. Again, the 248th game for the Mavericks in the playoffs today. Al Horford all-time playoff record. 97-87. There's that 87 again. 98. National Basketball Association's 98. I remember years ago when we were calling, before the Warriors and Cavs ever met in the finals, there was a mega ritual between the Warriors and Cavs paying tribute to Nate Thurmond, who played for both teams, but it was exactly 98 days before Game 1 of the NBA Finals. National Basketball Association 98, Chosen One 98, what's on LeBron's back. Sure enough, that ended up being the finals. Warriors, Cavs, and go back and look at that box score. It even went to overtime, 98-98. But, yeah, you add those two numbers together, that's 184 games played. That's wild. So going to be the 185th game. All right, compare Boston and compare basketball, both words that start with a B. Boston and basketball, 85 with the alphabetic order, 22 with the alphabetic order in numerology. Again, they were in their 22nd finals in 2022. with the reverse alphabetic order, they're different. Basketball is 185. Celtics are 17-5 in championships right now. Again, Golden State equals 175, like Pope Francis equals 175. It was super synced with the Pope when they fell to 17-5 versus San Francisco team, the Warriors, originally from Philly. But San Francisco is named after St. Francis of Assisi, like Pope Francis. Huge ritual. But Boston 77, remember, for the record, Boston and Walton are the exact same in all four ciphers. He died the day they advanced to the finals. But the finals were set in the 77th game of the NBA playoffs. The star in Dallas is Luka, number 77. And then the 78th game of the playoffs was the game one of the 78th NBA championship on the Celtics' 78th birthday. Again, the only team with a full name equaling 78. Boston Celtics, 78. Celtics alone, 46. Joe Biden, again, number 46, Secret Service name Celtic. Again, Boston came into the series 46-40 all time versus Dallas. 86 games. Jerry West dies at 86. Again, while the Celtics are on 78 wins in the 78 season. And the Phoenix Mercury died in a big Mercury ritual. Their last game that they had played was in Dallas. It was the day of the first game in Dallas. And then their last game before that was in Minnesota, where the Lakers were originally from. And again, the Lakers moved to LA the year that Jerry West joined the team. But yeah, it's possible that in Al Horford's 185th game, that the Celtics could become 18-5. That's crazy. Al Horford, and they have Al Horford wear number 42 as well. You know, it's the 181st day of the Pope's age, the 42nd prime. That's something. Boston's pretty Catholic. Okay. Yeah, nice find there, Almighty GI. Well done. Brandon Brown says, keep spreading truth and knowledge, bro. Thanks for all the time you put in. You're welcome, Brandon Brown. Thank you for your generosity. And how fitting that we would raise $22 after talking about old 22 in Boston and basketball. Yeah, it's a very great observation. No doubt about it. Okay, but yeah, I mean, again, just in real time, in case you just never know, all the skeptics out there, they'd be like, I bet he just edited those photos so it would all line up with the 138s. Okay, again, December 14th, 2012. Remember, it was a week before everyone was saying it was going to be the end of the world in 2021. I was still working into school that year. The middle school age kids were all on that. Like, I don't know if we're going to see you after winter break. I was like, I'm pretty sure we'll be here. December 14th, 2012. Again, it was 7 days before the projected Armageddon. But from that day to today, again, also the 14th of the month, as you can see, it's 4,200 days. I mean, there's probably something to that as well. The key digits there are 4 and 2. But 138 months, okay? 138 months. I don't know how a post really wasn't coming up right away because I know I've talked about this 1,000 times. Alex Jones, 138. Donald Trump, 138. Again, the Jesuits' birthday, August 15th, the day leaving 138 days left in the year. Federal, 138. Nationals, 138. The Nationals, again, won the World Series 138 days after after Trump's birthday, and their manager, Dave Martinez, had some mega rituals that year. He's also 138. But Trump's birthday, I mean, just think about it, you guys. Trump's birthday, they've connected Trump to conspiracies, censorship, just like Alex Jones, who worked together in the campaign year. It's art of war every day. They don't even have to fight wars. They just got you under total mind control through their screens. Again, they fight wars so they can control people, so they can rake in money and live high on the hog on the backs of others. And they're winning. So, you know. The only question is, are they so serious about saving the earth to get rid of everybody? You guys, I checked out about the first 10 minutes. Here, I gotta bring this up. Under Paris. Did you see this movie about a shark attack in Paris that they added to Netflix? They released it on June 5th. Okay? June 5th, right? And this was the day all the world leaders. Again, understand, I only watched the first 10 minutes. This is a review of the film, but I got enough. I saw enough of what I needed to see to understand the joke. Okay, so it's the same day world leaders were all gathering in France the day before D-Day. And June 5th in that part of the world is written 5/6. And again, Paris, France is 56. And Society of Jesus is 56. And the Jesuits were founded there. And remember, in several printings of Art of War, if you read Art of War, it starts out with rules. Rule 1, Rule 2, Rule 3, Rule 4. Several publishings have the same rule together. They have it Rule 5/6. And then they write out that. And then it goes on to Rule 7, Rule 8, so on. But they have it Rule 5/6 in this Jesuit translated text. Now, I've learned that some publications also don't do it that way, but several do. And it could be that those other publishers were like, oh, this must be some kind of error. Let me adjust this. But I think it was supposed to be just like that. Just like there's 56 male names in Matthew 1 through Matthew 1:11. It's only in certain translations, though. Some of the names are repeated, but 56 male names in 1 through 11. And remember, Jesus alone is 11, and 56 is 11 in numerology. But Society of Jesus 56, Paris, France 56. This film's about the damaged environment and climate change. It starts with the huge, without seeing it, I got the hunch at the beginning that the toxic waste in the middle of the ocean. You know how they say in the middle of the Pacific, there's all this plastic and crap that's as big as a continent or as big as some countries just floating in the ocean, which is sad. And again, imagine we lived in an agricultural society where people just spent their time in community, family, taking care of themselves, basic necessities, growing their own food. The world wouldn't be all full of packaging. You know, our ancestors were living in balance through consumerism, and we've gotten out of control. So the movie's trying to show that. It starts with like sharks acting crazy near the toxic dump in the middle of the Pacific, and then it goes to Paris, and it gives you a shot inside the river, and now a shark's there, and somehow it's living in fresh water and not needing salt water. I didn't get to all that, but maybe the mutations. Anyway, they're showing you how nasty the river is in France, just how dirty and polluted and full of crap it is, and they're pulling out munitions from World War II. So all in the beginning of the movie, you get that. Like 10 minutes in, couldn't have been much more past that I was just like, okay, I see what they're doing. But remember, Paris is where they've had these climate accords too, right? Climate change 56. The whole pandemic was 56. And they said one of the silver linings was it helped reach some of these climate agendas because there was less emissions in that time because people were doing a lot less driving and just everything. So, yeah, as world leaders gather there, a movie about a shark attack, and you just see how they got it all put together. It's all high ritual. It's all part of the programming. Like, you're not even thinking about it, but you're like, yeah, that's right. I was watching that shark movie, man, and man, it's sad what we've done to the earth. I mean, it is. I've been for longer than I've known about Gematria, I've been more concerned about things like that and just how people should. Again, people really should take better care of the earth. I mean, yeah, I think the climate change and all that is a huge political manipulation to make more money. Their whole carbon tax idea, but yeah, I mean, there really should be a push to take better care of the earth. I don't think it's a lie that there's a huge pile of trash in the middle of the Pacific, and you can just see, you go to all kinds of places and they're polluted and nasty. And you know, I've been thinking about actually how in recent years there's all this like sharks. It seems like there's more shark scares than ever in the news, and I'm starting to wonder if what the shark scares are really about is just keeping more people out of the water and less people traveling out to the beach and whatnot for their agenda. You know, I got that thought watching the movie. I was like, yeah, they have been doing a lot of weird shark, just like over the top with the shark attack stuff. Another argument is that we're killing the fish in the ocean and sharks are hungry and looking for something to eat. But I don't know, after watching their little dirty world shark movie is on the same day all world leaders are showing up. In light of what we're documenting all the time. I mean, remember Netflix had out all the whoppers when we went on lockdown, you guys. It was okay because you had Netflix. It was going to pass the time, but they just added between about the government dropping a virus on a town as an experiment, trying to wipe out everyone but the young people. And it keeps going to medical building 201 throughout the whole show. The main character was a pregnant teenager. Bill Gates, the next pandemic was like out the day after the first case was confirmed outside of China. in his backyard in Seattle. And of course, William Henry Gates, 201, the main co-sponsor of Event 201. You know, Alex Jones, a supposed former CIA guest that came on his show. He died in a 201 ritual. Let me go. Hold on. Former CIA officer and InfoWars collaborator Robert David Still. The news broke on the 201st day of Alex Jones's age. And they said he died from COVID-19 when Event 201 was the simulation. He was QAnon, which has the 201 in Jewish Gematria. Okay. Always the emphasis on 42, and now this big climax. It could all be over for Alex and InfoWars on the 181st day of the Pope's age, the 42nd prime. What a show it all is. August 30th, that is making the rounds. The day leaving 123 days left near the other conspiracy number. He died 46 days after his birthday in the time of number 46. Sacrifice 46. Like the Genesis Radio Network. Again, Genesis 46 is about sacrifice. And sacrifice is 46. Catholics 46, like 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. The first is Genesis. But again, Genesis Radio Network rituals. InfoWars collaborator dead 46 days after his birthday, a number we talked about a bazillion times. So. All right. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there, True Seeker. There's a lot more to it. You can go through older posts. I'm still kind of blown away, though, that when I typed in Alex Jones 138, nothing came up. I got this old post from May 5th, 2016, Waco, OKC bombing, Columbine, and 9/11 draft. I was working on a book back then. I never finished all the way, so I just put out all the draft copies. Waco, Texas has that 666 in Sumerian Gematria. This is a long post. Oh. For some reason, I can't get the thing to drag it down faster. Hold on, I'm trying to see if the post after this, if something comes up for Jones. That's the downside of those draft chapters. If you search for things, a lot of times those will come up. Huh, that's weird. I don't know. It'd be weird if they took down the post about Trump, Jones, and 138, because I know we talked about that so many times in the past. I'm just like kind of blown away that a post isn't coming up. At some point, they took away so many posts, I just stopped even paying attention to what they're getting rid of. It was just like too depressing. Hold on. Let's go back and look at what we just said the other day too about how this was all leading up to this. Clarence Thomas, who's about to turn 76, like Skull and Bones has the 76 connection, reminding us that George W. Bush has a 7/6 birthday, and the Georgia Guidestones came down on his 76th birthday on 7/6. But yeah, Clarence Thomas was in the news for taking improper payments, a violation of essentially the federal standards. But they kept mentioning that he flew him out to Bohemian Grove, where Alex Jones got famous. And yeah, this is what I was pointing out. The day that happened to Clarence Thomas was 138 days. It came 138 days prior to his anniversary of joining the Supreme Court, October 23rd, 1991. So 138 days before the 33rd anniversary. Alex Jones and federal, and both these guys circulating in the news at the same time. And now this ritual with 138 again, and perfectly connected with Trump's birthday. Yeah, it's just... Anyway, I don't know where the old Alex Jones 138 posts are. That trips me out. And it's funny because I know they took down the 612 post, and it was just the 612 days from when he was ordered to pay the families. And that should tell people a lot right there too. Just the fact that Google has to go back and get rid of certain older posts. Why? If this is just some weirdo man on the internet too obsessed with numbers and just you can find patterns in anything, why are they? Why have I lost so many channels? Why are they getting rid of old posts? Why do the same things keep happening? Why does it look super suspect? How come you're not asking more questions? All right. Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Again, thank you to the good almighty GI observation, and shout out to Brandon Brown for the generosity. Until next time, True Seeker.